Final Cat. Shout out to Impressive, and most importantly, shout out to y'all that's tapping in. This video is Keri Hilson was forced to diss Beyonce and she regrets it. Now in the last video, I don't know. I guess they was trying to say it wasn't a Beyonce diss. She said it wasn't. I don't know if it was. I don't know the diss that they talking about or whatever. But it's crazy when you see like great artists or artists that really got talent, career just come to an end because of like label problems or just, you know, industry beefs and shit, and them having connections to be able to make people stop fucking with you and shit like that. But we ain't gonna talk too much. Without further ado, we're gonna get straight into the video.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Impressive channel. The R&B singer Keri Hilson recently did an interview with Claudia Jordan on her Fox Soul show Out Loud with Claudia Jordan, and she revealed that she was pressured to feud with Beyonce.
Okay.
Now, for those who don't know the backstory, Keri Hilson rose to the height of her fame in the mid to late 2000s. She started off as a songwriter, and she was writing songs with producers like Paula Didon and Timberland. She got her first big look when she was featured on Timberland's song The Way I Are, and a couple of years later she released her debut album In a Perfect World, and after that she released her follow-up album No Boys Allowed. And she's mostly known for her big hits like Pretty Girl Rock and Knock You Down, which featured Kanye West and Neo. And I actually did a music documentary on Keri Hilson, and it's not one of my best documentaries because I still need to update it, but it pretty much detailed how Keri rose to fame and why she actually fell off. And the reason for that is she came for Beyonce in a diss track. Now, there is a song that she released called Turning Me On.
Well, okay. So if she did come for Beyonce, my apologies for the last video. You feel me? I'm not gonna say she deserves it because the way she was crying out, it seemed like it tore down her mental health. I don't know.
On featuring Lil Wayne, and she recorded a remix to the song, and in the remix she was throwing shade at Beyonce and Ciara, allegedly. Now the lyrics said this.
Yo, I know this is crazy, but yo, y'all remember back then people used to try to say Ciara was a man or something like that? When I was little, I used to believe that shit. I ain't gonna cap.
Your vision cloudy if you think you're the best. You could dance, she could sing, but she need to move it to the left. And she was actually referring to Beyonce's song Irreplaceable. So that was a noticeable dig. Keri Hilson also said this: she need to go have some babies. She need to sit down. She fake. Them other chicks ain't work.
What made me say that in my last video is she said it wasn't a Beyonce diss. She said it wasn't a diss towards nobody.
Time to talk about. Ben had dollars, boy. Go on, get your money up. You know I ain't the only homie on me lined up. I ain't turning it off. I stay turning it on. Go ahead and tell these folks how long I've been writing your songs. I've been putting you on. Just check the credits. Oh, if you want me, you can find me in Decatur. Oh, cause you're turning me off. So this is the song that Keri Hilson felt pressure to record, and Beyonce didn't respond to it. However, Ciara wasn't really all that happy about it. In fact, Ciara felt like Keri was talking about her, and she even subtly clapped back at Keri in her song You Got Me. Now, when Keri was asked whether or not she was dissing Beyonce or Ciara, this is what she said.
Okay. But there's a rumor going on that Polo Didon talked you into the studio, leaked a record that's considered a diss song for Beyonce and Ciara. Is that true?
It's considered that. Yes, Polo had this idea. No, he did not leak it. It's not the version Polo wanted out. You know, it's a hot verse. I love the verse. Yes, I heard specific names being brought up. No, it's not about that. No, it's not what we wanted to accomplish with this record.
Even though Keri said that the song was not a diss to Beyonce and Ciara, it was pretty hard for some of the fans to believe it. But Paula Didon did say in an interview that he did with Sandra Rose that he did push Keri to record that remix. He said, Ciara thought she was talking about her when she wasn't talking about her in particular. He said, I had a lot to do with it. I told Ciara, yo, Keri didn't even want to say half the stuff she said in that remix. I just kept pushing it, and it leaked. Now it's a whole year and a half later, and Keri still has to face that remix. She still hasn't lived that down, he said. Now, that alleged diss track wasn't the only thing that Keri Hilson said about Beyonce that turned some of Beyonce's fans off.
So why in the last video I did, they said it wasn't a diss track? I'm confused. Somebody don't got the information right, man.
Keri Hilson actually spoke out on Beyonce replacing her on Usher's remix to Love in This Club. Keri was supposed to be on the official remix, however, Usher replaced her with Beyonce. And Keri Hilson said that she wasn't mad at it, however, it was a missed opportunity for her to get her shine on the song because she did write on the remix.
When you wrote the verse for Love in This Club, we hear Beyonce singing now. Yeah. When you wrote it, did she sing it like you sang it, or did she change it up? Yeah, it's pretty much the same. It pretty much is the same. Oh, really? Yeah, it's the same, except it sounds like Beyonce. Yeah. You know, she doesn't write everything she touches. I know, Neil.
Now, Keri Hilson didn't lie when she said Beyonce doesn't write everything she touches, but some Beyonce fans took it like she was throwing shade at Beyonce. And the reason why they felt that way is because of that diss song. Now, the thing that really turned the Beehive off was this interview that Keri did with Juicy magazine. She was asked to hold up a magazine with Beyonce and Jay-Z on the cover. However, she didn't want to.
You want to hold the magazine? Just shout out Juicy Mag.
Oh. I can't tell. I won't tell.
Now, even though this looks very petty, looking back on it, I kind of feel like Keri Hilson was just trying to avoid Beyonce altogether because she knew that when people brought up Beyonce, they were doing it to be shady. And they wanted her to do or say something that would make the headlines. And I think she was trying to avoid that because she knew that the Beehive was going to drag her. And the media didn't really help when they tried to push this beef between Keri and Beyonce. But the Beehive did not like Keri, and they kept dragging her on social media. It was a mess, and they would even bully her in public. And this is one of the things that contributed to Keri's depression, because when she talked about her depression, she said that the online...
I understand people are supporters of an artist, and I may have misworded it in my last video. What I meant by what I said was, like, I don't like where it gets to a point to where it starts doing this to somebody, like basically tearing. And some people are like, oh, they deserve it, I don't care. But it's like, I still don't want to see nobody take a turn and go, you know what I'm saying, and then get to them being depressed and them still battling other personal things and it leading to this. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion, though. Y'all don't gotta agree with me.
Bullying did help trigger her depression. And also, Keri did face some hardships in her career. One thing about the music industry is people do like to blackball. So when she said the things she said about Beyonce, certain people in the industry didn't want to work with her because of their loyalty to Beyonce. Beyonce is highly connected and she's also very powerful in the industry. So if you go against Beyonce, you're pretty much asking to be blackballed. And I do believe that Keri Hilson faced some obstacles in the music industry. I believe that she was dealing with some type of spiritual warfare, and she was also dealing with people blocking her moves. And she did end up quitting music.
I hit rock bottom a few times. And I'm crawling back to walking in my purpose. Exactly. I think I had to give up music for a while. I stepped away. I thought it would just be a year. Mm-hmm. And that year 6, maybe. Yeah. I realize now that I'm grateful for all of those years because I have built myself back up.
I remember a lot of days I was just incapable. I paid
over $100,000 in studio time.
Damn.
And a lot of days I would pull up.
Not record?
And I didn't go in. Couldn't go in. I kept pushing. And I did some of the best work that I've ever done through that time. So it got easier.
After years of not doing any music, Keri Hilson did do a song with Stonebwoy called Nominate, but she still has yet to release any of her own projects, and people are waiting for it. A lot of Keri's fans are waiting for her to release her own music because Keri Hilson makes good music. That's one thing you can't take away from her.
Yeah.
She knows how to make a good song. But unfortunately, some people still won't allow her to live down that alleged diss track she had towards Beyonce.
Cause you're saying alleged. I'm kind of confused now. I don't know what to think. The last one said it wasn't. This one said it was a little bit. Then it said alleged. I don't know.
Keri did open up about it in her interview with Claudia Jordan on her show Out Loud, and she did imply that she was pressured to start a beef with Beyonce.
There was obviously a whole lot of public scrutiny that I had already dealt with for years, and that had built up, and I felt crucified for ideas and decisions that were not my own, that my arm was twisted to do. So that was
remember
really
that, Keri, and I felt so, I didn't know you back then, but I just was like, why are they doing this woman like this?
Yeah.
And why is it so cruel? And why are people taking joy, seemingly, to try to blacklist or
tear somebody down,
stomp out someone's dream? That's what it felt like to me as an outsider looking in.
It's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that
gotta
you
know
have
what you
to
gotta
listen.
say.
And when you buck, they buck harder, and they make threats, and those threats are huge ones. And you know what I mean? You don't feel like you have a choice. I really didn't feel like I had a choice. It was do this or this will happen. And I'm young, I'm early 20s, and I'm like, they're like, sing this song. You don't have it, you're here for a couple hours. I flew in town. It's the whole, if you don't, then blank. So you learn.
So is she saying like she was forced to do it by a label or something like that? Because some labels are known to do that, knowing that it can result in death and other stuff that's, very horrific, but they don't really be caring because at the end of the day, they got life insurance policies on y'all. They get their money either way. For me, whether artists flop or not, they still gonna get their bread. Trust me.
Oh, you learn to fight harder. I didn't have enough fight in me I was maybe 20, 21. I didn't have enough fight in me. I wanted this my whole life more than anything. I disagreed strongly with being that type of player. No one could ever compare to Beyonce. Let's just say the name that we're discussing. No one could compare. No one will for a very, very, very long time. And that was never my aim either.
Beyonce is definitely a dope artist, hands down. From start of her career to now, she's still a dope artist.
However,
it was framed that way.
Well, no, it was absolutely framed that way. It was written that way. Was not my lyrics, was not my writing.
So you had to pay the penalty.
Was not my doing, but I had to pay the penalty. And then I'm caught, like, do I tell the truth? Do I expose them early in my career? I'm super young, super new. This is my first album. I'm so excited. It just soiled my whole dream.
You should have.
So I learned. You live and you learn. You live and you learn. You learn to fight for who you are.
If you could do it all over again, would you do it differently or do it the same?
Oh, I would absolutely do it differently.
To be honest, if that was me and you received the backlash for like a label or somebody basically in a way forcing you to put out a diss track against somebody, then you should have said, yo, that was not my intentions. That was not me. I was put in a tight space. My label or somebody said, yo, if you don't put it out, this, that, and the third is going to happen. That's what I would have said. But
I don't know if I mean, I guess I would just see what the other side would be if I just fought harder and said no and let them go through, carry out their threat if they were really going to do that. It really felt that way.
What was the threat?
From the top. From the top. So, you know, and I didn't understand. I was like, well, I don't understand. Why is that so important to do? I'm not
I just don't know what was the threat.
I'm not even that girl.
So that's what Keri Hilson said about her feud with Beyonce. She said people at the top, she didn't mention any names, but people at the top were pushing her.
It must be powerful because she's not saying what the threat was. She's not saying who it was, where it came from, nothing. She's just saying like blatantly, basically, that she regrets it.
To start a beef with Beyonce. And I absolutely believe this. I believe this 100%. And I can imagine that somebody on her label was threatening her and saying that they wouldn't release her album if she didn't go at Beyonce. So I wouldn't put it past her label if they told Paula Didon to make her record a diss track to Beyonce. And they leaked it on purpose, probably to sabotage her. Who knows?
Probably.
But I think the label made her try to beef with Beyonce. And listen, if labels were paying artists to go at Nicki Minaj, I can definitely believe that they were trying to make an artist go at Beyonce too. The industry is a dirty game, and unfortunately, Keri Hilson was dragged in the dirt, and she had to pay the price for going along with their scheme. It's really sad because Keri Hilson is honestly a very, very talented artist, talented songwriter, talented singer. She knows how to make great music. And she actually stopped making music at the height of her career. So there's a lot of potential that she had that was prematurely stunted. However, I do think Keri Hilson still has a chance to break back through in the music industry because there are people who will be willing to listen to her music. So I do hope when Keri gets the strength, she will release another album. I definitely will be supporting it, but I'm glad that Keri Hilson finally spoke her truth. Anyway, tell me what y'all think about this video down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Man, shout out to Impressive. Shout out to Keri Hilson. Shout out to Beyonce. And shout out to all the female artists that's out there up and coming and just, you know, did they thing in general. I think that shit is weird. Like all of forcing artists to beef, that shit is dumb. That shit is dumb because it results in a lot of people going through depression, people most likely committing suicide, most likely going through financial problems. It results in a lot of bad for people that don't even give a fuck about you for real. They just want to make sure they make their bread in some type of way. But let me know your thoughts on this whole situation. Shout out to Beyonce and Keri Hilson once again and Impressive. I appreciate y'all for the love and support. Love is love, and I'm going to catch you on the next video.